Have you ever met someone who just filled the room with good vibes? That's kind of like what people experienced when they encountered Jesus, the Son of God and the Savior of the world. One day, as Jesus was traveling to Jerusalem, he passed through a village where he met 10 men suffering from leprosy. In those times, leprosy was a terrible sickness, and people who had it were often sent away from their communities, labeled as unclean. But these men didn't keep their distance when they saw Jesus. They called out, "Jesus, have mercy on us." Jesus told them to go show themselves to the priests. As they left, a miraculous thing happened. They were healed. Out of the 10, only one man, a Samaritan, came back to thank Jesus, praising God wholeheartedly. Jesus asked, "Hey, weren't 10 of you healed? Where's everyone else?" But he told the thankful man, "Stand up and go. Your faith has healed you." That single act of gratitude set him apart that day. Another day, Jesus was greeted by a huge crowd when he got off a boat. In this crowd was Jairus, a Jewish leader who was in a desperate situation because his 12-year-old daughter was dying. Jairus asked Jesus for help, and Jesus agreed to go with him. As they were on their way, a sick woman touched Jesus and was healed, showing amazing faith. But then came a crushing message. Jairus' daughter had died, and people said not to bother Jesus any further. Jesus, however, encouraged Jairus to just have faith. At Jairus' house, people were mourning, but Jesus told them she was only asleep. They laughed, thinking it was impossible. Jesus took the girl's hand, saying, "My child, get up," and just like that, she stood up, completely healed. Her family was stunned, but Jesus asked them not to spread word about the miracle. Of course, news still got out because how could you keep something like that a secret? Jesus also had a tight-knit group of friends, including Lazarus and his sisters, Mary and Martha. Lazarus fell seriously ill, and his sisters sent word to Jesus. When Jesus heard this, he said, "This sickness won't end in death, but happened for God's glory." He stayed put for 2 more days before deciding to go to Judea, despite his disciples' warnings that it might be dangerous. By the time Jesus arrived, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. Martha met him first, saying if only he had been there, her brother wouldn't have died. Jesus told her her brother would rise again, but she didn't realize he meant right then. Jesus went to the tomb, prayed, and called Lazarus out, and to everyone's amazement, Lazarus walked out alive. It was such an incredible event that many people came to believe in Jesus. Yet another time, Jesus was walking with his disciples and they saw a man who had been blind since birth. The disciples wondered whose fault it was that he was blind, but Jesus said it was so God's power could be shown through him. Jesus then did something astonishing. He made mud from dirt and spit, spread it on the man's eyes, and told him to wash in the pool of Siloam. The man did, and he could see. The change was so shocking that the man's neighbors couldn't believe it was the same person. They asked him how it happened, and he told them about Jesus. However, religious leaders, unhappy because it happened on the Sabbath, questioned him rigorously. Despite their pressure, the man firmly stated that he was blind, but now he could see, thanks to Jesus. There was also a woman who'd been sick for 12 long years. Having spent all her money on doctors without any improvement, she believed touching Jesus' robe would heal her. Braving the crowd, she reached out and touched his garment, and instantly she was healed. Jesus felt power leave him and asked, "Who touched him?" The disciples were puzzled because everyone was thronging around him, yet Jesus knew it was a special touch. The woman stepped forward, trembling, and confessed. Jesus reassured her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well." And indeed, her suffering was at an end. Finally, let's talk about this Roman officer who showed remarkable faith. His servant was in terrible pain, and he sought Jesus' help. Jesus was ready to go to the officer's house, but the officer felt unworthy to host Jesus. He believed that just a word from Jesus, no matter the distance, would heal his servant. Jesus was amazed at the officer's faith, declaring it unparalleled in Israel. He honored the man's belief, and that very hour, the servant was healed. It was an incredible moment that highlighted faith's power, regardless of who you are or where you come from. These stories illustrate faith's transformative power, the miracles that can occur when belief meets divine intervention, and the heartwarming difference gratitude can make in one's life. Whether it's physical healing or spiritual awakening, each story of the Bible gives us a glimpse into the wonder of faith and miracle through Jesus' life and works.